In this video, we're going to see how we can use the Consumer Price Index to compare the value of different products over time. So, when I was maybe 11, I started my first job babysitting, and I had absolutely no idea how much to charge. The family said, "What do you charge?" And I said, "I have no idea. Let me ask my mom." Asked my mom, and she said, "Well, when I started babysitting, I made $1.50 an hour. So probably you should charge $1.50 an hour." Well, obviously that was not very much money when I started babysitting, and I was undercharging by a lot because what my mom didn't take into account was the fact that the value of a dollar changes over time. Prices go up over time generally, and because of that, we need to always adjust for inflation when comparing the value of different products, incomes, any kind of monetary value. We have to adjust for inflation when comparing over time. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do here. And this is really useful, not just for this class, but like if you have a research paper in another class and you're looking at house prices from 2000 and house prices now, right? You've got to adjust for inflation over time because the value of a dollar was different in 2000 than it is today. So the way that we do that is actually pretty simple. It's just like converting between any type of units. So like inches to feet, right? Or pounds to kilograms. What we need to do is divide by the units we have and multiply by the units we want. And I've included a formula here to show you how that works. If I want the price in year X and I have the price in year T, what I need to do is divide by CPI in year T and multiply by CPI in year X. But I don't necessarily use this formula because I think the X's and T's can be a little bit confusing. Just remember, divide by the year you have, multiply by the year you want. All right, so we have an example here to see how this works. And here we have a family, and they are talking about their starting salaries, how much money they made at their first job. And they want to know who made the most money in real terms at their first job. So, of course, they all remember how much their starting salary was, but that starting salary occurred in lots of different years. And so in order to answer their question of who made the most money in real terms, we need to convert all of these salaries to one specific year. Now, we could answer that question, who made the most money in real terms, by converting the salaries to any year. As long as they're in the same year dollars, whichever one is highest in real terms. I will give you, though, usually the year that you want to convert to. So here I've said convert all of the salaries to $2010. That means that in each case, we're going to be multiplying by CPI in 2010. You can see the first person here, Sally, she actually started working in 2010, so we don't need to do any conversion to get her salary in $2010. But if you were to do that calculation, you can see that what you've got is $33,000, divide by the year you have, multiply by the year you want, and you've got $33,000. For Dad, we're going to have to do this calculation to get the answer. He had $24,000 for his starting salary in 1975. So we need to divide by the CPI in 1975 and multiply by the CPI in 2010. And then we'll see that Dad had a starting salary also of $33,000 in 2010 dollars. Mom earned $30,000 in 1985. The CPI in 1985 was 90. We want to convert that to 2010 dollars. And you plug that into your calculator, you'll get 36 $667. And then sister earned $26,000 in the year 2000 when the CPI was 100. So I'm going to divide by 100, multiply by 110, and that'll give me sister's starting salary in 2010 dollars. And that's $28,600. And now that I've converted all of the salaries to the same year dollars, I can compare and see which one is the highest. Of course, that's mom, obviously. She earned the highest starting salary of all of the people in the family. All right, good. So that's a simple example of converting from nominal to real values, right? We began with nominal salaries, current year dollars, and we converted them to real salaries in terms of holding prices constant, but comparing the real value of the salary. All right, so that's it for talking about aggregate price level. What we're gonna do to finish up this topic is to turn our attention to the labor market. Labor market is a really important market in our economy because every product we produce uses labor. Labor is an input market, right? So our inputs are labor, capital, natural resources, human capital. But labor is really important and gives us some indication. If we look at what's going on in the labor market, we get some indication of what's going on across all markets in our economy because labor is used to produce every product. So we care about labor markets because they tell us about what's going on in the economy, but we also care about labor markets because they tell us what the reality of life is for people, right? So why do we care about economic growth? Mostly because we care about standard of living or quality of life. And when we look at things like unemployment or income growth, this tells us a lot about what's going on for the average person in the economy. And so that's another reason why labor markets are important for us to look at. What we're going to do in this topic is we're going to talk about our primary measures of labor market functioning. We'll talk about two, unemployment and labor force participation. So first we're going to watch a video. I'm going to have you watch a video about unemployment rates and how we calculate unemployment rates, and then we'll come back together to do an example. I'll have you watch a couple more videos about different types of unemployment. And then I'll sort of conclude with some thoughts of my own. Okay, so go watch the video from Marginal Revolution about defining unemployment, and then I'll see you in the next video to do a calculation example.